Hi, everybody. Dr. Dan Lawrence here. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Writing, Language, and Literature at the University of Wisconsin Superior. I joined UWS in 2018, and I taught my first university level writing course almost 15 years ago now. So you're in good hands. I've been doing this a long time. I have my PhD in rhetoric and technical communication from Michigan Tech University. I published a textbook on digital writing. I used to work in industry professionally in digital marketing. I've done all kinds of work as a professional writer, technical writer. More recently, I published a nonfiction book on the history of rhetoric and disinformation, and I'm a peer-reviewed scholar. So you're in good hands here. I've taught this course many times. I enjoy teaching this course, and I'm happy to have you here. The basic pitch, the elevator pitch, if you will, is that writing is an essential skill in the workplace. There's really no way around that. Employers are looking for better writing skills. There's demand for the necessity to wield communication effectively in the workplace, especially, I mean, broadly, you think about how we're moving and have moved into more of this knowledge economy. Most professional positions, full time salaried positions, have lots of email, report writing, internal communication, external communication. It doesn't matter what field you're going into, transportation, logistics, or the sciences, computer science, programming. There's always lots of writing involved with any career path that you go down. So this class is very practical. I've designed it here to help give you the skills you need to succeed in workplace writing, and also with some focus on preparing some job documents um, as you move towards that career search. So that kind of cover letter generation. The textbook is very good. I've used this textbook many times. It has lots of helpful tips on how to edit your writing. Um, and so let's stop there. Let's zoom out a little bit. I think if you take nothing else away from the course, what I want to help you with is developing a writing process. That means I want to help you develop a process that you can use to approach the creation of any written document in any genre at any time, at any point in your life. There's a kind of universal method that's that we can take and apply to any writing situation. And so that means you start with a pre-writing process. You do your research, your brainstorming, if you will, note taking, all of that pre-writing that happens before you actually start. Then you draft the document. You draft your document, you get the basic ideas out on the page. Then you revise your document. That is, you take the time to ask, is the document actually achieving its purpose? Do you need to move any sections around? Do you need to delete things, add things? That's revision. Then we edit. We go through sentence by sentence with that laser like precision and make sure there's no typos, inaccuracies. We fact check. And then finally, because humans make a lot of errors and we're not always very good at editing our own work, we always do a final proofread. Maybe even proofread it again if you really want to make sure to get down to a low threshold. Humans make errors. Many studies done about this. We have biases in our perception. It's difficult to find our own errors. So by sticking to a writing process, we're constantly looking over our own work and trying to get it to a stage where it's as good as it possibly can be. We work it through multiple stages of our consciousness in a sense, right? Through that pre-writing, that generation stage, to the drafting, where we get just that very first essential shape of the writing done. And then we revise, we move around, then we edit, we check, then we proofread, that kind of final passing through. Applying a writing process with distinct stages helps us to create more accurate, powerful, meaningful documents. You know, a lot of students at the high school level, early college level, they'll write a draft and then send it off and think it's done, right? But as you become more of a working professional, you need to take ownership over your language and check yourself and introduce these new stages, these checking stages, revision, editing, proofreading, to make sure that you're not sending documents out into the world that are potentially inaccurate, erroneous, or have problems with them. And the why is really compelling. Some studies have shown that the threshold for errors in something like a resume or a cover letter is really low. It means like if if an employer, say a hiring manager at a company, sees one or two spelling errors or grammatical errors or punctuation errors in a cover letter or a resume, they toss it out as a very low threshold, right? So two very interesting things there is one where humans are not particularly naturally skilled at editing their own work for a variety of reasons, perception bias and time constraints, and a variety of reasons we're not naturally inclined to edit our own work, but we must. And then yet at the same time, we live in a world where the expectation is very demanding. The expectation is that we produce documents with very few errors, if any. That should be your goal. Your goal in this class is to learn how to produce a document that has something like 0%, maybe 1% errors in it. Spelling errors, typos, factual inaccuracies, preferably 0%, right? You're becoming a real working professional who needs to take ownership over their language and learn how to do this. So that's, maybe the long form elevator pitch is if nothing else, we're going to focus on a writing process that you can take with you for the rest of your life and apply to any writing scenario to produce effective, compelling, accurate documents in the workplace. And to do that, the basic outline is we have 4 writing projects and a final exam, and we have a weekly discussion board. And of course, everything I'm talking about here, your textbook covers in great detail. Your textbook is wonderful, so make sure you read it. Talks all about the writing process early on, the distinct stages of the writing process, things like tips for editing your documents, how to format your documents, all those little details, your font choices and layout and spacing. There's samples of well-designed documents all throughout the textbook, so you're well equipped here with that book. So again, 4 writing projects. That's project 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see those in the assignments tab on the left-hand navigation. You'll also see those in the weekly modules. And then we have the weekly discussion board. So as we move along, we're also reflecting on the reading and reflecting on our writing process. So I've taught this course many times. I've kind of pared it down. I've stripped it down a little bit so that it's not super overwhelming, right? I think it's a very manageable course. The goal is really that you're spending time, there's a time commitment here in that you're really thinking about your writing and your writing process. This is not a course where you want to just like quickly type out your thing and then send it off. And I really, it's designed in a way to help you reflect on your writing process so that you're really thinking about how can I become a more effective professional writer as we move throughout. And you'll see that, for example, in the discussion board design. Some of the discussion boards they'll ask you to reflect on the reading, or they'll ask you to reflect on your writing process. What went well? Did you spend enough time in revision? What can you do better in the future to produce a more accurate document? Are you struggling with the editing? What can you do about that? So on and so on. So that's the basic design of the course. You've got your textbook reading every week, you've got a discussion board every week, and then you have those 4 major projects that are staggered throughout with deadlines in Canvas, and then the final take-home style exam. Exam, I use that term loosely here. It's basically a final writing project that comes at the end of the class. It's not a timed exam. So in some ways, I've really designed this to be not a highly stressful course, right? I think it's pretty pared down. Discussion boards, readings, assignments, reflections on your writing process. So I hope you enjoy the course. I think there's a lot at stake in terms of, you should take it seriously in the sense that this is your chance to really improve your grasp of language, right? And that you can take this with you. It's an essential skill. Writing is an essential skill no matter what field you're going into. And so let's do it. Let's take some time to stop and really think about what we're doing when we're creating documents so that you can be better at it, so you can be more effective at it and produce more compelling documents so that you can someday get that dream job. And once you're in that dream job, you can be really good at it because you're stopping to reflect on your writing process and you're not just sending out. Right, I mean, the really compelling historical example is the Challenger space shuttle disaster, where the engineers they discovered a fatal flaw in the design of an O-ring, a component in the space shuttle, and that under a certain temperature, this component would fail. And that was documented in a report. But through a variety of miscommunications and missteps at NASA, they went ahead with the launch anyway, and like hundreds of millions of dollars of equipment and the lives of many people were lost. I mean, writing is serious in that way, right? You're trying to convey accurate information, meaningful information. The things you write matter. So maybe that's the big takeaway here. I won't go on too long. That's the basic course in a nutshell. That's why I think it matters. That's why I think it's worth spending some time here over the course of the semester with me. And I'm Dr. Dan Lawrence. I'm happy to help you as we move along. The best way to reach me is by email, but please, before you reach out, make sure check check the syllabus, check the weekly module in Canvas. Remember, we have lots of resources to help you. You've got your textbook, you've got the Writing Center. You can make online virtual appointments with our writing coaches who can, and you don't even have to be like, if you have any question, you can make a Writing Center appointment to get help, one-on-one help with your writing, editing, spelling, formatting, brainstorming for an assignment if you're stuck on something. So remember, our Writing Center is a great resource. I'm here to help you. Textbooks here to help you. So don't be afraid. Let's dig into it, and good luck with everything. All right, happy to have you in the course, and take care of yourselves.